What do you actually need to do to a boat to get it capable of sailing around the world? Well, this is my boat. It's a 1971 Nicholson 32 Mark 10. She's old, she's tired, she cost me £4,000, but she's got good bones. So in the upcoming videos, what I'm going to do is show you everything that I'm going to do to get this boat ready. And it might be a bit less than you might think. One of the common mistakes I see people make around marinas over the time I've been doing this is that they buy a boat with the intention of going around the world and wanting to live the dream like I do, or I'm intending to. And they want everything straight away before they go. They want the best lithium battery banks, they want high output alternators, they want all the power generation, they want all the fancy instruments, they want absolutely everything. And what happens is they spend 1, 2 or 3 years spending all their money on marina fees, instruments and all the rest of it. And by the end of the 3 years they've got significantly less money and they've done nothing but boat work for 3 years and they've fallen out of love with it. So I'm going to try and avoid those pitfalls. I'm going to talk through that with you guys, and we're going to see if we can just go and do this, because why not? In this first video of the series, I'm going to show you everything that's wrong with my boat, or everything I thought of. I was sat in work last night and I started drawing up a list, and I was surprised at how quickly the list got quite long. And we're going to talk about everything that I'm going to fix, everything that I'm going to try and improve. However, that list of things that is wrong with the boat is not going to be fixed before I set off. There's no point. I'm not spending all my time doing this and using all my money. You think about it, if I want to buy new batteries, if I want lithium batteries, I could spend £1,000. I could probably live for a couple of months for £1,000 on anchor in the Caribbean. Do I need to sacrifice those 2 months worth of money to have a bit more power on board when I can just manage my power a little better? No, I can make do without a fridge on long passages, and I can make do with being power conscious. So this is going to be a bare bones, just what you need to do to get the boat going, to get it safe and make it able to do the trips. So that's what this video is. We're going to start at the bow, work to the stern, and then have a look inside and look at all the things that are wrong and have a little talk about what I might change and what I'm just going to leave. So, first on the list, the bow. This is actually the project that I'm most looking forward to, because just recently I've got a little bit into like 3D modelling. I've sort of put up a rough design of a little holder for the Orca navigation thing and stuff like that, but it's something that's interesting me at the minute. So at my bow I've got a really little stub anchor roller that isn't made for storing the anchor. The anchor is stowed in a locker on the deck. I've also got quite a small chain plate and a little a smaller chain plate for the inner forestay and nowhere to tack on a spinnaker really. So what I intend to do is use 3D photogrammetry to take hundreds of pictures of the bow of the boat, scan that in, and then use Autodesk Fusion to create new chain plates, anchor roller and all that sort of good stuff. I haven't explained that very well. I've tested it out a little bit. I made a little 3D model of my hat on the desk at work. It went okay. The one that I'm going to design is going to be a bit more like the one on Matt's boat, split across 2 levels with a central upright which is going to carry the stays and stuff like that. I'll also have to make new backing plate for it to cover the wider dimensions and stuff like that. And while I'm in there, I'll check that the deck isn't rotted or anything like that, because it is a balsa cord deck. Second on the list, moving upwards slightly, is the furling system. So the previous owner said that there was a problem with the furler in that it was usable, but it was clicking quite badly. I'm hoping this is just a bit of rubbish in the bearings or something like that I can easily fix. If it isn't, I'm not about to spend 2 or 3 grand on a new furler. It's just not an option. So I'll just use a sail in the foil and take it down like a hanked on sail if I need to. So yeah, I'm hoping that once I'm going to unstep the mast probably anyway. So when I do that, I'll have a good look at the furler and try and fix that up. As part of the chain plates, I'm going to incorporate an anchor roller so I can stow the anchor up on the bow there. I think that's just a better system, having it able to be deployed a lot more quickly. You'll notice that the windlass is a sort of horizontal windlass, but it's also made to drop the chain through the deck as well, if needs be. So I may reposition that and have a little look at if I can make that a little bit better. Moving aft slightly, you'll see my forward hatch has a lovely little cover on it that Bob made me at Penarth. Basically, this hatch leaks. It leaks like a sieve. But that cover has helped out the situation a little bit, so I need to take it out and reseal it really, but I think it's where the perspex actually screws into the hatch itself. It's all cracked and stuff, and I think it's leaking there, so I may get a new piece of perspex, or I may just take it off and try and seal it, or I'll figure something out with that, but you know, £1,000 on a new hatch, not happening. Next up, we may as well talk about the rig in general. The standing rigging, which is the cables that hold the mast in place, I don't know how old that is and how long it's been on or anything like that. So I'm going to get Andy Gordon, who's a local rigger, to come out and have a look at it, do an inspection and see what sort of condition it's in. I know that I want to replace the backstay at least. You'll see here the backstay has insulators on it, so it's an isolated backstay, which means you can use it as an aerial for a single sideband radio, which isn't installed anymore. So I want to replace that because I don't trust those at the very least. But realistically, I think when I sell the other boat, I'm probably going to spend that on getting the rigging done. I think that's one of the most important things. The chain plates that it goes down to come through the deck and attach to a stainless steel bar that goes through some webbing on the side of the hull. A couple of those are in poor condition and rusted, so I may end up having to replace those as well. We'll see. I've got to try and find somewhere that makes them first. I've been doing some Googling and haven't quite found them yet, so we'll figure that out as we go. The other thing with the rigging is the running rigging, which is all the rope and line and stuff like that. That's all going to have to be replaced, and once I've had the rigging inspected, it may turn out that the sheaves, which are the little rollers at the top of the mast, maybe those need replacing as well. I know for a fact that the end cap on the boom is nearly worn all the way through where the main sheet attaches to it. I've been keeping my eye out for a replacement one of these, and one came up and I thought I was in loads of luck, but it turns out it was a size below mine and wouldn't fit, which is super annoying. But I may be able to design one in 3D. There are companies that you can sort of design things and send your design off and they will make it in a CNC machine for you. So there's a chance I might design one of those as well while I've been going through my 3D CAD design sort of stuff. I may redesign it and go to a twin main sheet option. I haven't decided yet, but that is definitely something on the list that needs doing. Coming back now to where the mast comes through the deck. So mine is a keel-stepped mast. That means the mast goes all the way through the deck down to the keel and is bolted at the mast step down there. That does mean that you've got a hole in your deck, and I'm not quite convinced that the covering around the base of the mast where it goes through the deck is keeping any water out whatsoever. So I really need to sort of put a new surround, a new boot, a new gasket. I'm not sure what they're called. I need to get something sorted for that to stop the boat shipping a load of water every time it rains. I think on Matt's boat he 3D printed a ring that went round it and then sealed it all up, so maybe that's an option as well. I'll speak to Matt a bit more about that, but I'll figure that out. Moving back to the cockpit, so my washboards, they're old and they're loose and they're super annoying to use because they jiggle about all the time. Last boat somebody said, oh, why don't you use Perspex ones? I can't do it. I'm too much of a private person. I know I could put a curtain across there or something, but I just don't like the idea of it. I mean, literally my curtains are drawn all the time in the boat. This is my little microcosm that I like to be on my own in. And I don't want the outside world coming into it. So, but it would be nice to have the option at anchor and stuff like that. So I thought kill two birds with one stone. What I actually intend to do is put two runners down each side of the Companionway hatch outboard of the Companionway, with grooves in them, and then get a perspex sheet that will slide into it like a stormboard and curve it around at the top. And that means that any driving rain or anything like that won't come through the sides of the washboards like it does at the minute, because it's sort of loose. So yeah, I think I can do that for pretty much nothing. I think I priced up some perspex sheet and it might cost 25 quid. I think I can just heat it with a hairdryer and bend it over, and that will be like it'll offer extra protection for the companionway. Because if you think about it, the companionway is actually the biggest hole in the boat, where you could ship a lot of water in if you've got water coming over the back. So yeah, it's going to act as protection for that. It's going to keep some rain off the washboards and keep some wind out and stuff like that. So that's I'm actually looking forward to that little project. I think that'll be something cheap that's going to add value to my life. We all saw the absolute shit show of me trying to berth the boat the last time. Part of that fiasco was the fact that the engine controls are just a nightmare. I was going to replace them with normal Morse controls, but they cost a fortune. And you know what? I think I can achieve something similar by just moving the controls. If you look at them in a minute, they're quite far back behind the tiller, so when you're trying to helm the boat, you've either got to stand next to the tiller, which means you can't move the tiller, or stand behind the tiller. I don't know what the intention is with the throttle controls being there. I think it's because they offered a steering wheel as an option, which would make that placement ideal, but with the tiller it's just a nightmare. So I think I can solve the issue by moving them forwards a little bit near where the seating is, and orientating them vertically instead of horizontally, because then it will seem more natural pushing forward on the gear lever and back on the gear lever to go forward and backwards, instead of down and up and never knowing quite where neutral is. So I'm going to give that a whirl and see how that feels, and further down the line in the sunshine somewhere, if I still don't like it, I'll change it over for normal Morse controls. But I think I'll get away with it. While we're in the cockpit drains are terrible. They have these little plastic grates on that just get crap stuck over them all the time. The cockpit never fully drains, which means that it seeps in through the little gaps around the large engine hatch. So I really need to have a good look at those. I may change it all around when I do the seacocks, which I'll come on to in a little bit. But yeah, I need to sort something out. I'd also like some big holes in the cockpit, so that if we ship a lot of water it can drain quickly, because these ones are only quite small at the minute. If you're getting repeated waves over the back, I'd like that cockpit to clear a lot sooner. So that's something that I'm going to have a little look at as well. We briefly spoke about power. I used to have a wind generator, but it didn't work, or as far as I know, needed new bearings or something. But I don't like wind generators. They're noisy. They generate virtually no power. Can't be bothered with it. So I'm going to stick a solar panel on the solar arch that's already in place. The issue that I've got is that the solar arch is really close to the backstay, which means anything that I put laterally athwartship is limited to how far back it will be able to go. Normally you could rectify that by having two panels and putting them each side of the backstay so they can extend past it. That is an option that I will look at. I just need to throw a panel up there and get an idea of the dimensions. But one of you guys might know more about this than me. Is I have the windvane self-steering. I don't know how much a solar panel is going to interrupt the airflow where the windvane is. So if you've got the solar panel here and the windvane here, is turbulence over the solar panel going to affect its ability to keep on a course or anything like that? I honestly don't know. That's something I'm going to have a little research on. While we're talking about the solar arch, I've also got Starlink that I need to mount. I bought it ages ago. I've had to cancel the subscription. You can put it on standby, where it's only £4.50 a month, because it's pointless me paying £96 a month or whatever it was when I've got marina Wi-Fi basically. So yeah, I need to find a method of cleanly mounting the Starlink where it's not going to shade the solar panel, but it's also going to have a clear view of the sky. So that'll be a bit of faffery that I'll sort out at some point. The windvane self-steering, I need to service it, check it all works, and do some testing on it. When we talk about power, a lot of boats are set up with two batteries, one that's a starter battery and one that's a leisure battery. I have that in the cockpit locker. What I'm thinking of doing is just having that as one single bank, which will be the starter bank. It will also get charged by either its own little solar panel or something like that. I'd actually like to put a hydro generator on the back. I also have obviously the power bank with all the inverter and everything built into it, which I'm going to charge off the solar. So my intention is, if you imagine I'm on a journey, I'm sailing, I have the hydro generator which is going to charge the starter batteries, which will power the loads like the lights and ship's loads sort of thing, and then I'll have the solar charging the battery bank, which I will use for my personal stuff like the laptop and stuff like that I can monitor the stuff. And then I'm going to have a switch where I can change over so I can run the boat off either battery bank sort of thing. That's the intention. I'll look more into it, see if that works, but I think that's going to be the best one. That's if I can get a hydro generator. But watch this space on that, I might be able to. Back to the list. The engine. You may know that I've got a reconditioned engine that I have access to that I can buy off my friend. I intended to take my engine out, put that engine in, and then break my engine for parts and keep that with me. I'm not going to. My engine runs fine. It's just got some fueling issues at the minute, which I know exactly what it is. I can sort that out. So all that time and effort and trying to realign the engine to put an engine in that, although it's been reconditioned, it's been stood for years and years. I don't know if it's going to be any better. I know mine runs. So I am going to get the engine off him, but I'm going to break it down and stow it as parts, the main bits that may break. And my engine, I'm just going to clean it up. I'm just going to scratch some rust off. I'm just going to spray some spray on it and tart it up a little bit. I've serviced it already. Just get it running, get it looking something like. I may rewire it. I may do a new wiring harness for it. That's not much cost, just a bit of time. So that's an option. Because the dials for the engine, some of them don't work and there are holes in the boat. I really need to clean up that area and make it watertight, and maybe get a tachograph on there in some way. There are options with that, but effectively I'm leaving the engine in, I'm using it, it works, why change it? Somewhere down the line, if suddenly I come into some money, then I may re-engine the boat, but that works. They run forever, those little Sab 2Hs, so sod it. Why go through the expense and the effort? I can't see the point. So yeah, that's another weight lifted off my mind. I don't have to do all that. The list of doom. Seacocks. All the seacocks are old. There's one Blake's and the rest are ball and valve. So basically I need to take all those off, clean them all up. There's actually a couple of seacocks that I can get rid of altogether and just block off, which I might well do. We'll see. Yeah, part of that will be working out the cockpit drains as well. So replace all the seacocks. This is another thing that people do. I'm replacing the seacocks, so sod it. I'll get all True Design ones and spend £1,000 on True Design. Yeah, they're fantastic. They're perfect. I'd love them, but I'm not spending £1,000 on seacocks when I can spend 100, and they'll achieve exactly the same thing. Another issue with going to True Design, for instance, would be that all my seacocks are flush, so they're built into the hull, which means I'd either have to dig out all the hull to get them out and then patch it all back up and then drill new holes for the True Designs, or I'd have to just block them off in some permanent way and move the seacock to the True Design next to it. It's just not worth the effort. It really isn't. The boat has worked for 50 years. Why am I going to change it? It's just pointless. So yeah, I'm going to service all the seacock, replace them with proper new ball and valve ones. The one thing I'm definitely keen on changing is the inlet seacock for the engine is a gate valve. Don't have gate valves on boats. It's a gate valve. It goes directly into the water pump on the engine. I'm going to change that and put it into a sea strainer first, like I did on the old boat. I just think that smiles better. So yeah, I'll do that. I may put in a different water pump. I've not decided. I'm also going to put in, I think, an auxiliary electric fuel pump. Yeah, in case the lift pump goes, that's what's gone at the minute, the lift pump. But being able to start the engine with an auxiliary pump, I think, might be beneficial. So yeah, I mean, they cost nothing. So yeah, I'll go for that. The electrics we've touched on briefly, but I think I'd like to rewire the boat. There's so much stuff in here that just isn't used anymore. I'd like to maybe not run new wiring all the way all over the boat, but especially by the electrical panel, and in this area there are wires to lights that don't exist anymore and stuff like that. I'd really like to tidy all that up and maybe do a full rewire. I mean, I did a full weight rewire on the other boat in like a couple of days, and it's just some wire. So I'll toy with that idea, but I am definitely going to clean the electrics up in some way. And don't forget, like, once I start this trip, you might be at an anchorage and you might be stuck there for 3 weeks, something like that. That's 3 weeks I've got to do something in. I can just do ongoing stuff while I'm doing that. Water storage. I have a 220 litre tank. That is more than enough for me. I bought this boat 4 or 5 months ago, something like that, and the tank has only just emptied. I've been literally waiting for the tank to empty so I can clean it out, because it is full of grim horribleness and the foot pump isn't working properly. So yeah, that's actually going to be my first job, which I'm going to start tomorrow morning. It's morning now. It's about 5:30 a.m. I've been awake all night. Yeah, doing the water pump, running new water pipes, and then the water's drinkable and tastes nice. So yeah, but 220 litres of water, more than enough for any passage that I'll be on, more than enough for a few weeks at anchor, all the rest of it. I'll also carry some emergency water in case anything goes wrong, which I'll stow up front and use as ballast in like 5 litre bottles or something like that. But yeah, Camper and Nicholson did alright when they decided to put 220 litres of water right down in the right down by the keel. That'll do. Clothes storage. I've got nowhere to put my clothes and it's really annoying. I may build a wardrobe somewhere. I've got a few ideas about it, but it's just one of those annoying things. I don't necessarily need to do it. I'm storing them in boxes at the minute up in the forepeak. I'm going to have to figure out a way of securing those boxes and stuff, but yeah, I really need to figure out somewhere to put my clothes because it's super annoying. And there are other little jobs that aren't worth mentioning here that are just part of general boat stuff. I've already made a bed for myself with a memory foam mattress, which is super comfortable. The trouble is I don't want to get out of it anymore. Originally it was just like the standard saloon cushion type things, and it's just not comfortable, not long term. Like, being able to get your head down and sleep properly is so important. So yeah, I've left those down and then gone with a memory foam mattress on the top and some nice comfy bedding, so I'm well happy with that. That's really comfortable. Lighting is another thing. The lighting in here is terrible. I know it looks good on here because I've got a big old circle-y light thing, but when you're trying to do something around the boat, there's like one light up top and it's just not good enough. So I think just getting some cheap LED strip light type things, dotting those around. There's power in places. For instance, this light here, it doesn't work, but there's power to it. So rather than have that, have like a bigger LED light that'll cast some light into the place. I was thinking as well, along these shelves here, on the inside of here, put in red LED strips so you can have like lighting at night that's not going to ruin your night vision. But yeah, that's all bits and pieces. I have a Taylor's paraffin heater on the wall. So it was leaking. The previous owner took the exhaust down and the through coach roof fitting and re-epoxied it and closed it all off to stop the leak, which is fine, but I don't have the exhaust anymore and I don't have the bit that goes through the coach roof. so I can't reinstate it. Looking for the parts on those, it's like 400 quid just for those 2 parts. It's ridiculous. So I'm not going to reinstate it. I'm using an electric heater at the minute. That's alright when I'm in the marina, and when I set off I'm going to warm places, so hopefully I'll be fine. If I need to fit like a Chinese diesel heater or something at some point, I will, but I'm trying to avoid it if needs be. So yeah, that I'm probably going to take off and stow it. I've got some storage now, so I think I'll just stow it in case I change my mind. I don't want to get rid of it. This is a key thing that Matt told me. Is like anything you take off the boat, don't throw it away, because the previous owner had a clear use for it, and you might not know what that is, but one day you might be trying to do something, you're like, ah, shit, that's what that part was for. There's some weird stuff like that down behind the heads. I don't even know what they were made for storing or anything, but I'm not taking them off just in case they were important. Yeah, I think that about rounds up the things that I'm going to fix and the things that are wrong with it. The thing I'm really looking forward to doing this new bow roller and chainplate duo. I've bought some 3D spray and some little stick-on stickers and all that sort of stuff. I'm actually going to take all the photographs in a couple of hours when the sun comes up. I'll film that. You won't see it for a while because it's probably going to take me a month or two to actually do all that CAD work and stuff like that. But yeah, it should be good fun. I'm looking forward to it. My big worry is the rigging. That is a substantial amount of cost. That's maybe in the thousands. My old boat, Genie Stewart, I've got all the parts for it. It's just sat there, it needs fixing, and I just can't bring myself to do it. A couple of people have mentioned wanting to buy it. There's one for sale at the minute on Apollo Duck that's 13 grand, but it's still got the engine up front in the bow with the hydraulic thing. Not one that you want. So I reckon mine's tired. If somebody came with an offer now over 7.5 grand, I'd take it, and they can do the couple of days work themselves. All the parts are there, but once I've fixed it, I'm gonna be looking at 10 grand. So if you wanted to save some money and you want my old boat, send me an email and make me an offer. You can take it as is, where is, because I just don't have the time or energy to do it. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, I think the key thing to take away is that you can keep fixing a boat forever and ever. You can fully recondition a boat and still find things to fix. And it just ends up stopping you going places and doing things. So I think that's the lesson that I'm trying to learn, is that stop fixing stuff and use the boat. So I'm doing this water soon. I'm going to get the engine running, and hopefully in the next few days I'll go out sailing. Yeah. That's it. That's everything wrong with the boat. That's everything I'm going to fix. We're talking budget. Not got one. I'm not some rich YouTuber. I work full time on minimum wage, and all my money goes on mooring fees and storage fees at the minute. Whatever's left, to try and pick little bits of the boat to do. But yeah, hopefully it will work out. Use the money off selling the other boat to do the rigging, and the rest I'm just going to have to do with manual labour and as cheap as stuff as I can. So yeah, it's not going to be some big fancy boat restoration. It's going to be budget and get to the Caribbean and onwards. So yeah, that's it for this week. Next week will be boat work, and then more boat work, and then some sailing, and some more boat work and some sailing. So yeah, thanks for watching. This is probably a really terrible video. I had grandiose plans of how it was going to go and do this and do that and show you this and be all upbeat, but it turns out I've been awake for nearly 24 hours and I'm absolutely knackered and I'm going to bed. So, bye. What do you actually need to do to a boat to get it ready to sail around the world? What's broken on my boat? And more importantly, what am I going to fix? Because those two things aren't the same. And that's, fuck off, that's shit, you fucking fat fucking knobhead. Cunt. What do you... What? Fuck off. What do you actually need to do to a boat to get it ready to sail around the world? It's something we all think about doing, or fuck off, no we don't, cunts. What do you actually need to do to a boat to get it ready to sail around the world? Well, in this... Fuck off, cunt. What do you actually need... Fuck off. What do you actually need to do to a boat to get it ready to sail around the world? In this video, I'm going to hope to answer that question. But the question of everything that's wrong with my boat... Fuck off, cunt. Fuck off. Shit prick. Woos. One common mistake that I see people make is they buy a boat looking at... Fuck off, cunt, fuck you, prick, fucking wank stain. Fuck off. I need to think about this.